Welcome to the next video in the C++ development of Noughts and Crosses. This video is going to focus on the CheckStatus function. We've already set up our game loop, our display grid, display input, fill square and check input. Now we're going to look at the CheckStatus one. This is probably the hardest video out of all of them, and you might need to recap certain elements of it. This is because it looks at the way Noughts and Crosses works, and then we set it up so that we can find a winner or a loser or combos of winners, etc. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at we're basically going to set a char. Okay, so we're going to look at a function, and this is going to create a local char variable called x0, which will either be set to x or 0 depending on the value of current player. Okay, so obviously player 1 is x and player 2 is 0. We'll also create a bool flag called inPlay, which will initialize to true, and then it'll set to false if there is a win or a draw. So it'll basically set whether the game is running or whether we've finished the game, and then we can go from there. Okay, so the first thing is we're going to look at character to check, charter character, and then we're going to initialize to x but change if player 2. Okay, so a character called x0 is equal to equals x. So we're going to set it up straight away as x. However, if current player is equal to 2, then set x0 to single speech marks 0. No, 0. Okay, so that's saying we're going to set a variable called xo, which is a char, to x, but if current player is equal to 2, then edit this xo and then change it to 0. Okay, we're going to create a flag. So a flag is just a term for on and off. So flag for if we are still in game mode, set to false if there is a winner or it's a draw. Okay, so bool is just on off, yes no. Bool inPlay, that's going to be what it's called, is equal to true. So we're going to start off by saying we've got an inPlay variable, which is our flag. We're setting it to true, and then we've used bool because we can just use true or false with bool. Okay. Now we're going to check for a winner, a winning combination. So if, and then we've got a lot of conditions for this one because obviously there's lots of ways of winning. So if just normal brackets, if grid reference 1, so grid reference top left, which is 0, 0, is equal to x0, which is saying if it's equal to whatever this currently is. So if it's player 1, it'll be x, or if it's player 2, it'll be 0. So if in the top left hand corner you've got an x or a 0, depending on what player it is, and the grid reference of 0, 1 is equal to x0, and the grid reference of 0, 2 is equal to 0, or x0. So if that is equal to it, okay, I'll put hyphen there, that's why it's red. So if that, and that is all equal to the same one, we've got a winner. So these are going to be our row matches. Or, which is just 2 of them straight line symbols. So there's obviously multiple combinations of winning. There's 8 combinations of winning Noughts and Crosses. There's 3 lines across, 3 columns and then 2 diagonal. if any of these combinations are winning, then we want it to do something to say we've won. Okay, so this is just the first one. So that's the first one. We'll copy that across. So we've got 3 row matches, and then we'll change this to match. So the next one along is 1, 1, 1, and 1, 2. And then we've got 2, 0, 2, 1, and 2, 2. So this is top line, middle line, bottom line. Then we'll look at some column matches. Put this in. So remember this symbol at the end just means or. So that one, or that one, or that one, or this one. So we'll do exactly the same thing again. But we'll just have to make sure the number system's right. So top left, which is 0, 0, and then 1, 0, which is middle, centre middle, second row down left, and then we've got 2, 0, which is bottom left, so it's going to go down the column here, and then we're doing the centre column, which is 0, 1, 1, 1, and 2, 1. And then we've got the right hand side column, which would be 0, 2, 1, 2, and finally 2, 2. So we've got them set up right, and now we just need our 2 diagonal ones. So okay, so we've got grid function from there. That's just because this is set up like this, it's fine. So it'll disappear now, it's just because we've copy and pasted it. So we've got or. Obviously when we get to the last one, it's not going to be or something else, it's just going to be that. So we just need to make these the diagonal columns, which will be top left, which is 0, 0, and then it will be centre, which is 1, 1, and then it will be bottom right, which is 2, 2, and then we'll do it the way around. So 0, 2, which is top right, and then we'll do 1, 1 for centre, and we'll do 2, 0. Okay, so there are diag matches. So there are different winning combinations, noughts and crosses. So you've got 3, 3, and 2. Okay, so if any of these conditions are met, then we want this to happen. Okay, so we want to open the code block this time. So obviously this is a condition, so it could all be on one line. That's just easier for us to set it up like this. So inside the code block, so if one of these conditions is met, what we want to do is we want to tell the player they've won. So this means that there is a winner. So display this to screen and unset the flag. So at the minute we've got the flag as true, as in the game's playing. We will unset the flag to no, to say the game's not playing anymore. We've already got a winner. Thanks. So we want to print to screen that player 1. No player. So we don't know which player. Player current player. So this could be 1 or 2. Wins. Marks for effect. For speech marks and L. And then I want to set the flag to false. Okay, so what we've done is we've shown to screen player 1 or 2 is that wins, end line, and then we've set the flag to false to say the game is now not in operation and we've already won. Well, we've got a winner. Okay, if these conditions are not met, then we need to do an else-if statement. So we've done the if statement, so if that's true, do this. Else if the filled squares value, which is the one that counts up all of the rows, remember. So rows times cols. So if the filled squares is equal to rows times column, which is 9, then it's a draw because it means all of the noughts and crosses spaces have been taken, however no one's won. So what this is going to do is set that it's a draw and also change the flag to false because the game won't be running anymore because it's ended. So count capital letters, use English, it's a draw, exclamation marks, and line, and then set in play, which is our flag, to false. Like so. Okay, so after else if, we've not called our code block. You should get into a habit of when you've put an if statement or you put an else if, put the code block in first and start to work between it. It's just the way I'm showing you. I'm not really doing that, but I'll try and do it from this point. So we've set it now to if this condition's met, there's a winner. Else if all of the rows are filled, then it's a draw. Okay. Now we need to tell the flag what to do. So if not equal to in play, so the flag itself, this is what we want it to do. We want it to display the grid again. Display complete grid. So we want to do display grid function, and then we want to clear the grid afterwards. So clear the grid and set back to player 1. Okay. See, I've done it again. I've not added the code block. I should always do it like this. We're going to clear it back. So to do that, we're going to run the initialize function, which is this one we've not created yet. Then we want to show to screen whether we're going to play again or not. So show to screen instructions to play again or quit. I'm going to give it a quit option here after we finish the game. So show to screen play again, question mark, press any key or press F to quit. So remember right at the start of this tutorial set within our game loop here, inside here we set up there if it's not equal to F, then carry on the game loop. So basically what we're doing at this point is I'm just going to close the game loop again so it's set up. So inside here we've set up that if we press F at this point, then it's going to quit. Obviously, because we've shown that to screen, we need to actually take the input of what I'm going to press. So take input. So if it's not equal to in play, I want you to do this thing. So if the flag is set to false and the game shouldn't be running, then do this. Or if the game is still running, we now need to change player to the other person. So else inside here, otherwise we are still playing, need to change players. So if current player is equal to 1, so if it's player 1's go, we now want it to be player 2's go. So notice a slight difference in symbols. So is equal to 1. So if the current player is equal to 1, then we want current player to equal 2. So it's not is equal to 2, equals 2. So we will need to change it to that. If it equals this, then we will need to change it to that. Else, if current player is not equal to 1, if current player is not equal to 1, then we want to change it to equal 1. Player equals 1. Okay, so we've got two little instructions. If it equals 1, change it to 2. If it doesn't equal 1, then change it to 1. And then we'll have some close brackets, which we've already got here. Okay, so we've set it up like that. So that's the whole of the function. So what we've done in essence is, in the CheckStatus, we've first created a new variable called x0, and that's just to let us know what letter we're using, whether we're using x's or we're putting zeros in the boxes. If current player is 2, then we're running zeros. If current player is 1, then we're using x's, because it's already set it to x's, so we don't need to check it's player 1. It's already set to that, but if it's player 2, change it. If it's not, leave it as it is. We created a flag, which is set to true to tell us the game is currently running. We've done a condition to see if someone's won or not. We've done a flag check there. So if someone has won, we've changed the flag to false to say the game's finished, and then we can do something else. However, if no one's won, but the fill squares is now equal to 9, so the grid's been completely filled, then we've also finished the game. So we've got an in play as false as well. If here the if in is not equal to in play, then we want to display the grid again. We want to initialize it back to 0, and then we want to take an input whether the player wants to carry on or not. Else we want to switch the player and then continue with the game. So if the in play flag is set to true and the game's running, we want to do this. If it's set to false and we don't want to carry on, we need to do this. Okay, so that's the whole of our CheckStatus. The final video, next time, we'll look at the initialize function, and then we'll have a play with the game and kind of show you how it works. Thanks for listening.